2 years on from the outbreak of the Gaza war, the world looks very different. What began as a local conflict has reshaped alliances, driven global protests, and deepened divisions between Israel and much of the international community. Today, the questions go beyond the battlefield. Will a fragile ceasefire finally hold? Is there any real pathway to Palestinian statehood? And what happens to Israel standing in a region where Arab states and even longtime partners are recalibrating their ties? I'm Yusuf Aram, and welcome to the special edition of Strait Talk from the Turkish Arab Economic Forum in Istanbul. Two years into the Gaza war, the devastation is immense. Entire neighborhoods lay in ruin. Over 65,000 Palestinians have been killed in what the UN is now calling a genocide. International courts are weighing war crimes charges that could isolate Israel even further. But the conflict has spilled far beyond Gaza. After striking Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and Iraq this year, Israel expanded its campaign to Iran and even Qatar. And in the Mediterranean, Israeli forces seized a flotilla carrying aid to Gaza, tightening the blockade even further. Israel's interception of the aid ship has sparked global outrage and condemnation. The continued fallout is reshaping the Middle East with shifting alliances and new rivalries. Turkey has stepped forward as one of Palestine's strongest advocates, using diplomacy and aid to amplify its influence. As the anniversary approaches, can a ceasefire hold? Is Palestinian statehood still possible? And what future awaits a region already on the edge? Across the Middle East, diplomacy is taking center stage. In recent months, we've seen the Arab League's emergency summit in Cairo, joint OIC and Arab League talks in Istanbul, and most recently, a high-level meeting in Qatar, all focused on confronting Israel. The goal has been to rally Arab states behind a unified front, pressing for a ceasefire and keeping Palestinian statehood on the global agenda. One person who has helped lead that charge is Hossam Zaki, Assistant Secretary General of the Arab League. I sat down with him to reflect on how much the region and the world has changed over the past 2 years, and what challenges, risks, and opportunities there were as Israel's war on Gaza enters its third year. When you look back at this period, how do you evaluate your institution's performance?
Thank you. First, I have to tell you that October 7th has been or has caused a seismic shift in the whole region, and it had ripple effects that we are witnessing until now. So that has been by all means a very significant moment in recent Arab history. The Arab League has tried to deal with this event or the aftermath of this event in a way that embraces unity with the Islamic states. So we witnessed actually two Arab Islamic summits that have tried to address the situation. And of course, when I say the situation, we all know how complicated it is, how messy it has gotten, how lethal it has become for the people of Gaza. And we have tried, while working with the Islamic states, the organization of Islamic cooperation, we tried to formulate a political position for all the 57 member states to adopt and to try to promote throughout the world. It has been difficult. It is still difficult. Of course, not all the countries are on the same wave. Some countries have more progressive views. Some countries have more traditional views. But all in all, I think we have been able to present a political view and a political position that is solid and that has benefited from the support of almost the totality of the membership. The Palestinians needed that, and they still do need that. They cannot operate on their own. They are at a very unfavorable position for the moment. They need all the help and the support they can get. And I'm not talking only in terms of money and financial support. I'm talking in political terms. I'm talking even in moral support. So we try to present that and to always lend them the support that they need.
How do you manage the mixture of views, as you said, more progressive, more traditional, the mixture of views inside of a multilateral organization like this? And do you feel right now there is a solid consensus? I mean, regardless of the spectrum of massive support or minimal support, but there is a very clear and solid consensus on the Arab League is with Palestine 100%.
Listen, I think there is a very solid consensus on a variety of points. So, for instance, if you want me to tell you, for instance, we can say that there is a very solid consensus, and not only Arab Islamic, it is worldwide, on refusing the displacement of Palestinians. That has really been embraced and supported by everybody. For instance, the situation where now we have a very degraded humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. Everybody is in support of immediate delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza, because we cannot witness the Israelis using starvation as a weapon. Really, it's a war crime that is all too much to witness, and so on. The Palestinian statehood, needless to say, has been an issue that commends the support of everyone. And on that, we have been able to work and to try to convince countries that previously have never been acknowledging that this was going to happen. But then they did recognize Palestine as an independent state, and that has been a major factor shifting the scene, so to speak, when it comes to the international reaction to what is happening now.
Are you surprised by this wave of recognition of Palestine at the UNGA, especially by Western countries? And what do you think is driving that change in perspective, that change in policy to now shifting towards recognizing Palestine?
Well, I have to tell you, much has been. Well, first of all, it's not a total surprise. Some of those countries have been toying with the idea for some time, and even before October 7th. It was not really their priority, let's put it this way, but they have been considering this idea. And we, when I say we, I say the Arab League, I say some also Islamic states as well. They have been trying to push this idea on the agenda of those countries. We have not been successful. So why we have been successful and why it happened now? It happened now because I think, first of all, we didn't give up. We have had a diligent work of the Arab Islamic Committee chaired by Saudi Arabia, and then there was this global alliance for the two-state solution, and then there was the General Assembly resolution that has resulted in an international conference that happened at the end of July. So all this, that was co-chaired by Saudi Arabia and France. So all this has led to a momentum whereby those states felt that it is going to be a positive thing for them to take this move of the recognition in order to deliver a clear message to the Israelis that what they are doing is wrong, what they are doing should be stopped immediately. The Palestinians should be allowed statehood without hindrance from the occupation force, and that this is finally, it is a moral support for the Palestinians that are going through very tough times because of this criminal war Israel is waging against them. So from our perspective, this has gone in a good way, in a positive way, and I think we will have to continue our work on this front in order to get more recognitions. I think now we have reached 160 states that recognize Palestine, which is an unprecedented number for a country that is
almost the same as Israel.
Almost same as Israel. Yes.
Why is one recognized and the other not if they're almost the same?
Well, because the law, the regulations in the United Nations make it that such a demand from a state to be recognized as a state has to go through the Security Council first. So, and you know, the Security Council
United States is
has a veto power of the P5. Okay. So one state can stop this process.
So then let's stay on the topic of the United States. President Trump, obviously, he self-proclaimed Israel's best friend. But it seems that that friendship is a little shakier than it was maybe a year ago when he got elected. Has the United States lost some of its credibility by giving this blank check to Israel and enabling everything Netanyahu wants to do, especially its role in the attack on Iran nuclear facilities and also turning a blind eye to what's happening in Gaza regarding the delivery of humanitarian aid and whatnot?
The United States have lent their support all too much to Israel. We know that they support Israel. We know that they are committed to Israel's security and so on. We understand those concepts, and we're not disputing anymore any of this. But there is a limit to anything, and I think they have gone a little bit too much in this support. This being said, the recent development that has been reflected by the proposal of President Trump to end the war in Gaza, I think has several points that meet Palestinian, Arab, Islamic demands, such as the dropping of the idea of displacement of Palestinians, something that has really been preoccupying the minds of Palestinians and Arabs, and especially neighboring states such as Egypt and Jordan. The idea of refusing to annex the West Bank. This has also been an idea that Israel has been flagging as a measure of retaliation against the recognition by Western states of Palestine. So this has also been very clear in the Trump plan. References to statehood, not enough for us at all. They fall short of really meeting the aspirations of the Palestinian people and the rights of the Palestinian people. But nevertheless, they are there. And it is something that even the word statehood has been used, and that is, we understand, was a taboo for the Israeli Prime Minister and some of his coalition members. So those are things that need to be encouraged, need to be worked on, and they can present good basis for further work.
So Lebanon, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Qatar, Yemen. Am I missing anyone? Aside from Gaza, that's a lot of countries that in the region that have suffered Israeli attacks. There was this fear of a regional war. Is that concern still valid, or has the worst passed, and is Israel now too isolated to be able to spark this into a regional war?
I think the worst part has passed. At least I hope so. And I think also that the effort put by the United States and the President of the United States is considerable in stopping this whole madness show that we have been witnessing. We need to encourage Washington to continue to work in the direction that we think is right.
Do you think Trump's pragmatic enough, or at least, I mean, during his campaign, he was the pro-peace president. And obviously this is a war, while he inherited it, some of the worst of it has been under his watch as U.S. president. Does he have the pragmatism, because he is the self-proclaimed deal maker here, does he have that pragmatism? Do you feel that he has that humanity where Muslim countries can get together, as they did in New York during that big meeting where he met with all the Muslim and Arab leaders? Can they convince him? Can he make that stand against that powerful Israeli lobby, that influential lobby, and say, you know what? No, this is wrong. This needs to stop. And if he does he deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for that?
Listen, I think we have seen that happening. The meeting with, first of its nature during this administration, the meeting that happened between President Trump and the Arab and Muslim leaders that you have referred to, that happened in New York, I think it yielded a positive result. I think it yielded commitment from the part of the American president to end the war, a stronger commitment than previously detected. And I think it introduces a new phase, probably, not of a weaker commitment from the part of the US toward Israel, but probably on the side of a more engaged United States, and a more sober United States, of the need to stop this carnage and this madness that has really become all too much for anyone to accept in the region and beyond. So I think, yes, we all realize the American involvement can change things, and I think it has the potential of doing so.
I want to ask you about Turkey. I mean, the relationship between the Turks and the Arab world, obviously during the Arab Spring when everything was fragmented, it was shaky, but it seems that there's an embrace again now over the past couple of years, and we're seeing Turkey at the Arab League summits, at the OIC summits. Well, they've always been at the OIC summits, but at the Arab League summits, a lot of increased dialogue, normalizations with many of the countries that previously had frosty relations with. How has Turkey's initiatives been throughout these past 2 years regarding Gaza and its position on the issues?
Listen, you said it yourself. I think it was a difficult decade, let's put it this way, or decade and a half roughly. It was difficult. The so-called Arab Spring has strained relations to the maximum, sometimes even cut relations. And I think it was only good to realize that Turkey and its leadership When they have assessed the situation, probably they made some amendments that made possible for relations with countries like Egypt, for instance, to resume in a more positive way. And you and I have been talking before this interview about how close the two countries can get and can become for the benefit of stability in this region. So yes, now I think things have been moving in a very positive way. Turkey, of course, is a major country in this region, and it has always been very close to the Palestinian cause, at least in the past 2-3 decades. It is clear that these feelings have been manifested both officially and popularly. So we have seen more than one example of this, and I think the ideas that Turkey and some Arab countries that are more involved in the issue of Palestine than others, I think the cooperation is going in the right way.
Very recently, a humanitarian aid flotilla was seized by Israeli forces. This isn't the first time it's happened. This is a repeat. I mean, there were activists, politicians, humanitarian aid workers, nothing threatening, at least profile-wise, no one threatening, no arms, nothing that could threaten Israeli national security, yet it was seized. What are your thoughts on this happening?
Obviously, we condemn that because the Israelis have done that in international waters. So it means that they prevented the flotilla from even reaching Gaza shores. And that was expected. They have done it before. And they do not want anyone that is not in total conformity with Israeli positions to access the Gaza Strip. They don't want that. Journalists, as we have seen, they've been killing hundreds of journalists. They have been preventing international independent journalists or mainstream journalists around the world from entering the Gaza Strip. They only select a few that are in total obedience of their rhetoric and their point of view to access Gaza. That is not a normal situation at all. This is something that we need to condemn, and we need to make sure that the world knows what is happening and why all the reality is not coming out of Gaza the way we would like it to.
When we look at Netanyahu's position right now domestically, his polls are very, very low. I mean, there's about a 60-65% of Israelis have an unfavorable view of what's happening in Gaza. Even more have an unfavorable view of Netanyahu. If you could speak to them, or if you knew they were watching, what message would you want them to leave with if they watch this interview? Those who do not support what's happening in Gaza but are Israeli.
Listen, I can tell them the following. I can tell them the Palestinians are equal human beings, just like Israelis, just like the rest of the world. They are not seeking to oust you out of your country. They are only seeking to have a state of their own that is free, that is independent, and that is sovereign, and on the remaining 22% of historic Palestine. This is something that should not cause you any particular trouble. And this is something that all reasonable people in the world, and that is a majority, have been supporting. The Palestinian state has been supported by 160 countries all over the world, which is a huge number. Palestinian statehood is supported by the whole neighborhood, by the Arab world, by the Islamic world. And not only that, if you accept to live in peace with the Palestinians, all this Arab and Islamic worlds will reach out to you and have peace with you and normalize your situation in the region, and you will be able to live normally in your neighborhood. So only good things can come out of positive consideration of all this.
Assistant Secretary General of the Arab League, Hossam Zaki, best of luck to you on your initiatives for peace.
Thank you very much.
You've been watching a special episode of Straight Talk with me, Yusuf Aaron, from the sidelines of the Turkish Arab Economic Forum, where we've been covering the commemoration of the 2-year mark in the war on Gaza. Looking forward to seeing you again on another episode.